Welcome to the Tied Together podcast, where we feature everyday people doing extraordinary things. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share so others can join in on the conversation too. Today's guest has a passion for people and their health and well-being. In 2002, Daryl started a company geared toward helping people with full and limited mobility reach their fitness goals by providing group and one-on-one training in person and virtually. He has been featured on the CW Network, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and speaks to the community at schools and health expositions. After finding his passion, he left his day job and pursued his dream of lifestyle fitness and hasn't looked back. Please welcome Mr. Daryl Madison.
Hey, hello, Keisha. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to this interview. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to have you. Thank you for joining me today.
Great.
So tell me, what started this passion about fitness?
Well, at an early age, I found my calling. Of course, I had to develop it over the years. At the age of 14, I just fell in love with lifting weights. And from that age, just improving myself, my physical abilities. And of course, I played high school football and all of that. So it was just something I always enjoyed doing. But as I gotten older, I don't know, I just had the passion to help other people become a better version of themselves through health and fitness as I did. And, because once I got the feeling of it, like, hey, I really feel good about myself, my body, that makes you feel good in the inside also. And so I was like, you know what? It was just something in me that wanted to see that same experience, Keisha, happen to other people who were trying to reach their fitness goal. So that's kind of like how the passion got started early, I guess the gift, some people would say. And I've been blessed to be able to continue to do that for a while now. And I don't plan on stopping. It's just something I enjoy doing. And I'm looking forward to continuing to improve people's quality of life and help them live a longer life.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about becoming the best version of yourself. That's something that I look to do daily. It's not something, I don't know if you ever even reach the best version of yourself. In my opinion, I think that it's something that you're always attaining. But talk to me when you realize that you weren't living your best life and what that pursuit looks like for you.
Well, my best life kind of like is the passion of what I'm doing. Even though I've always, as I mentioned earlier, had a calling to, I guess, sooner or later become a personal trainer. I wasn't always a personal trainer. Of course, I had attended college, CAU, Clark Atlanta University, and I majored in political science. And after I graduated, I became a paralegal, which I really, really enjoyed doing that. But it was something just always calling me to do more to help people. And so just kind of like from that, I just wanted to do more. I learned different lessons in regards to how I could help people improve their health and fitness, which made me, a better person. I learned, just other things, working with people, working with groups, just different challenges that you have to go through to become a better person, to become a better you. Whether it's just through life experiences, positive and negative things. I've learned from all of those things to become the version that I am now, Keisha. But like you said, that's an incomplete version. We're always trying to, or we should, or me anyway, or, most people, always, you live and learn. So as I'm learning, as I'm getting older, I'm becoming a better version of myself because I'm trying to learn the lessons that I need to learn along the way. Now, if you don't learn those lessons, hopefully sooner or later, you'll still become a better version, but it won't take as long. So the little nuggets that I'm learning, from people that are in my life, or people, just lessons, just you get in life. I try to just, make the best out of that and become a better version.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to back to Clark Atlanta University. What was your dream for yourself then? What did you want to become at that point?
I wanted to become a lawyer. That's why I chose political science. And once I graduated, that's why I actually became a paralegal, to see if I wanted, before I invested all that money and time to see, because actually paralegals do a lot of the groundwork for attorneys, a lot
Absolutely.
of the and things like that. They're kind of like the behind the scenes person, but it gives you a great view of, what a lawyer is. Fortunately, I was able to work for the City of Atlanta Solicitor's Office, which is the prosecuting office for the City of Atlanta. So I had an opportunity to, to go sit in courtrooms, a lot of the courtrooms, hear a lot of the cases and those type things. And, after a couple of years of doing that, even though I had a really great job, thankful for that job, thankful for that opportunity, and the money was good also, but it just was not my passion. You know how everything could be perfect, Keisha, in regards to the pay, the people that you work with, the hours that you work with, but it's just something in you, like, man, a lot of people would think, particularly in that area, that that's the perfect job. Mm-hmm. I guess on the outside looking in, it could be for some people, but it wasn't my dream. It wasn't my fulfillment. And, if you have everything perfect like that, but that one part is missing, even though it's a perfect job, that 8 hours seem like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Or 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, be honest, I wasn't really doing a whole bunch there, but most people, I just wasn't grinding. It was an enjoyable experience, but it just wasn't meant, meant for me to continue working. It was meant for me to become the personal trainer, the person I am today. And that's kind of like it.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about that, because a lot of people deal with having a dream at one point, or thinking that they want to do something, and then it changes after a while. I've had that own experience in my own life. When I was a little girl, I used to line up my teddy bears on my bed, and I used to teach them. I'd get my little ruler and I would teach them how to read and write and just pretend, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And then I did become a teacher. And then after some time, I wasn't a teacher anymore. And, I had to deal with, well, what do I want to do now? How long did you have that dream of becoming a lawyer? Was that from a little boy, from high school? When did that dream start for you?
Yeah, because I was always kind of interested in politics and in law. So that kind of like was the natural way that I wanted to go when I went to college. But kind of like, I read a book, Keisha, called Pulling Your Own Strings by Dwayne Dyer. I don't know, a lot of people may have heard of him. He's a motivational speaker. And it's a couple of great nuggets in that book. But one thing I remembered that stuck with me was, never let an 18-year-old or 19-year-old tell a grown person what to do. And by that, it meant, and they use college as an example. Just because you wanted to go to college, you went to college to become something, when you get 30 years old, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to do that, because you're a grown person then. But a lot of people, they'll stay in there because they're in that profession because they were groomed to do that.
Right.
They sort of like it. It pays well and all those type things. But I just always remembered that, from reading that book. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let that 18-year-old kid that wanted to be an attorney not let me become a personal trainer.
No, yeah, I get it.
Because those are two different, those are very far, very different areas. So that's kind of how it is. And I always tell people that, particularly if I talk to younger people that are kind of like in a transition of, they're in a job, like I told you, the scenario I was in pays well, but, they get a lot of joy out of doing something else that may not pay as well, may not be as prestigious, or it may be even more prestigious. But you can always, I could always go back and become an attorney.
Yes.
If I do the paralegal, you know what? But it's better to do that and try to be like, you know what? This paralegal, this personal training thing not working out for me.
Right.
let me go back and just kind of see if my passion is still there about personal training. But I would have hate to have invested, Keisha, that amount of time, that amount of money, and that amount of effort. That kind of like makes you, once you do all of those things, it makes you, okay, now I really got to do this.
Right.
Really turn it now, because I done invested all this, as opposed to, I go to law school, try personal training for a year or two, and if it's not doing what I think it should do, hey. And on the subject of that, if I feel that way now, Keisha, about anything, when my passion leads me somewhere else instead of training, I will do it, because I'm a personal trainer. I can always come back and do this.
Yeah.
Be a waiter or whatever. Just try, particularly if you're younger. You at any age. First, let me say that at any age, follow your passion. But particularly if you're younger, and if it's like 10 things you want to do, just, man, do them all. Just do them. And you know what? If you don't like it, just do the other thing. Make it 11 things. Just experiment. Hey, life is short. You got to enjoy the ride. You got to enjoy the ride.
I love that. Yes. So, just giving you a little bit more of my experience, because I want to know how it was for you. So I found my passion, my purpose, my calling in my nonprofit, right? And so when I was a teacher, of course, I taught children how to read and write and do math and things like that. And at the school I was at, we would always do these big performances with the children. I personally would teach them songs in sign language, so they would perform that for Easter and Christmas. We had another teacher that would teach them liturgical dance. And I mean, these are 5 and 6 year olds, and they were getting it down pat, and they were putting on these grand performances. When we did graduation, it was seamless. The children moving in and out to collect their diploma. That school really taught me how to put on a production of sorts. And so now when I'm doing things with my nonprofit, I'll put on like the book fair, or I'll do a tie event, and it doesn't feel foreign because I've done it before. Or if I have to teach a little boy how to tie their tie, or teach a little girl how to read something that's above her grade level, I know how to do it because I've done it before. So I can see those things, though I thought that teaching in a school was my passion and purpose, I can see how it led me here today. Is that true for you with being a paralegal and what you're doing today? Is there any kind of correlation for you?
Well, just in college in general, and in paralegal school, let me say, and in, just jobs that you have, they all teach you something in regards to, in college in particularly, because of course you're at home, 17, 18, and then you're out. It's particularly if you live off campus or even on campus, but it teaches you, and being a paralegal or working for somebody, and just being out there in the workforce, Keisha, it teaches you discipline. It's no more, particularly in college, mama coming in there, or dad coming in there shaking you, hey son, you got to go to class, you got to go to school, you got to have an alarm clock, you have to get up. And that discipline is what will hopefully keep you at college. Because I probably gone to college with people who didn't have that discipline. I mean, it's party 24/7. And if you don't have the discipline to go to class, to do the assignments, you won't be there long. As well as it has taught me, okay, so now fast forward, I'm a paralegal. Well, I know that if somebody hires me, I know I need to have the discipline to be there on time, to have done the homework or done what is necessary to teach them what to do in our training session. I've already crafted it out. It's not, I'm going to go there and make something up. So just the discipline, as well as how to get along with others. One thing about college, or either pretty much any job force, even if you're working for yourself, you still interact with the general public. Yeah. It's how to get along with people. In college, a lot of times you have group assignments where you may not like this person, okay? But the teacher has put you with this person. So that's teaching you how to grow, how to get along with people, how to have patience. Because you're like, oh, goodness, I want to bring this person next. But it can't go down like that.
Nope.
Oh my goodness, this person is not carrying their end of the bargain, and it's not but 2 or 3 of us. Okay, so how do I figure out how to communicate to this person? And if I can't get him to do it, well, guess what? Just like in the real world, I got to do his part, because at the end of the day, we got to get the assignment, as well as working as a paralegal. I work with the attorney. We work together to try to get the best outcome for the case.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have liked him, or whether you like them or not, it still is a common goal, Keisha, where y'all have to get something done. So those are some of the, just the experiences that I learned in college, or just in professions. This helped me today. It's clients that I train. Hopefully none of them listen to this. They may not be my favorite client. But from working with people, you learn how to overlook certain things. Be like, okay, they just out there like that, so I need to be grounded. I can't come. We can't both be off the chain.
Right.
Got to be grounded, or just something like that. Mm-hmm. So just like I say, life experiences that you learn from, just the workforce or college, Keisha.
Yeah, I love that. I love how everything just ties in together, how God sees fit to have you go through certain experiences so that when you do discover your calling, your purpose, that it just all makes sense. And, I struggled for a time with not knowing my purpose, and I was frustrated because I wanted to know it. I wanted to know what I should be doing. And I was getting so upset, like, well, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And who knows, God could change my calling again. It doesn't have to be a lifelong thing. Like you said, it could be something else that springs up. And I would just impress upon people to not get frustrated with what you're doing now, because it all plays a part. I don't know the Bible verse, but it's do not be weary in well-doing. So while you're walking that path, just be excited about it. Do the best you can, because it all ties in, just like you were talking about. You had to put those plans together and teach other people things while you were paralegal and in college. And that just ties into lifestyle fitness, because you still have to put those plans together and have everything set and ready to go for them. So I think that's dope. Okay. What I am curious about is quitting day or quitting week, when you decided that you were no longer going to be a paralegal and you were going to do personal training. Because I'm also familiar with having a job with a great title and then leaving that job. And then it's like, oh man, I had like a little identity crisis myself. What was that like for you? What was the quitting period like for you? What was going through your head?
All the following your passion and all that sounds good, but there's going to come a time where the rubber meets the road, where you're going to have to, okay, am I going to really follow this dream, this passion that I have, or am I going to, if you're fortunate enough as I was to have a really good job, a couple of years in there, great health benefits, great, money, just a great situation. So it was really a struggle. It was really, really a struggle. And fortunately, and I'm a person of faith. I come from a family of faith. And a lot of decisions that I make, I got a great dad. I got a great dad. We're a great family, but particularly, guys that talk to my dad. And now it's he said, son, look. Because at the time I was working, 9 to 5 as a paralegal. And I had gotten my certification. Yeah. And I was training a few people before I'd go to work in the morning and a few people in the evening. And it's really not but so many hours in a day, Yeah. So, and then of course, while I was at the job, I really didn't want to be there. So it just came a point. He said, look, you just going to have faith in God. And you just going to have to step out there on faith. He said, no, that's what faith is. This is not guaranteed. We don't know what the personal training thing is going to do. But that tests your faith. And I remember this to the day. He said, God will honor that. If that's, first he said, pray, taking it to the religious part. He said, you pray and you seek God's direction, wisdom, and guidance. And he did say, if it's put in your heart, if it's something good and put in your heart, God put that there because, he created you and all of that. So he's not going to lead you to do something and jump out there and he's not going to take care of you. He did say this. And, of course, he's lived through things that I haven't. He said, now, it doesn't mean that just because you follow it and he tell you to do it, that it's going to be easy.
Okay.
He said, He said, that don't mean, that down the road you might be like, man, why did I leave this job or whatever? And, it doesn't mean you're not going to make sacrifices. Mm-hmm. But it does mean if you're following your passion and if you've prayed about it, you have peace about it, that and at the end, it may not seem like it in the beginning, or it may, but he was just preparing. Unfortunately, it will work out. Mm-hmm. It will work out some kind of way. And even though we even prayed about it together, him and I, all that's good and dandy and it's right. But when you finally walk in there with that resignation letter, looking at all the things you've been able to accumulate, and you're stepping out on, personal training, people will tell you quickly, it's not a necessity, it's a luxury. Yeah, right. So they'll tell you quick when it comes to a bill to get cut, they will let you go. Mm-hmm. Which understandable. And I'd had that experience, a couple of times before I quit my job. So, but at the end of the day, I just did it. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I did it now. But there were times, like he said, that I was like, I cannot believe I quit this job. Because, of course, it seems like once you quit, all the people you're training, for some reason, they can't train anymore. Can't train anymore. And then you have to think, you get, particularly if you have kids, it's not just decision. If you're in a relationship, or maybe, if you're married, if you got a girlfriend, mm-hmm. like I said, and kids, and there's other people that's involved in that decision. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like a thing too, because it's not just you. If you're following say for instance, Keisha, you're following your passion, but kids still got to eat. Yeah. You're following your passion and you're finna quit a job or resign, but a mortgage still got to get paid.
So I actually do want to talk about that because I'm a mom and obviously a woman. I don't have the same experiences as you as a man and a father. And you're a father and a husband. And as a man, I know there's a lot of pressure on men, whether it's us that puts it on you or men that just, you all just feel that pressure by yourselves, that I'm the man, I'm the head of this household. I got to make sure my family stays afloat. There's a pressure and a responsibility to make sure that your family's good at the end of the day. And I know there's a lot of men that are watching and a lot of men that go through this too. They want to find their passion, but they know they can't let their family down. Did you deal with that, as a man, as a father, as a husband?
Yeah, what's crazy, and I'm glad you brought that up, is I had just gotten married like a year. It may not even have been a year before that. And on top of that, my first kid was coming in like a couple of months. So that even stressed me out even more.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, I'm just got married. Now I got before I had, apartment, it wasn't much to maintain that apartment, mm-hmm. but now I got a mortgage. I got a child on the way. So it really, even though I did it, the pressures really started to kind of like come. I was like, oh my goodness, these people not signing up. Mm-hmm. I'm doing all I can do. Lord, I followed what you said. I listened, my dad, little seeds of knowledge, mm-hmm. but this is not working out. But every time, Keisha, literally, and I can say this, every time almost before I was like, you know what? I'm just have to get a 9 to 5. I'm just have to go do something else. The Lord, stuff worked out and it pulled through. Absolutely. I mean, I tell you what though, it will keep you on your knees. And you know, if you're a person of faith, it will keep you on your knees, because it's sometimes, particularly just starting off, he was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this and do that. And you know, at the end of the day, you still, like you said, the man of the house. Fortunately, you know, I have a wife that supported me in doing that, but you know, that pressure starts mounting on her as well as on you. She sees you going through this. You know, you're worried about bills. You're getting, you know, I want to say snappy, but you know, you just
it can
the
affect
mind
you
here and there, that pressure, any little thing, you just like, man, what are you trying to figure things out? And so it's not just easy it's not just you, it's not them. So you having the right person, the right mate, when you decide to do something like that, if you're not single, is freaking huge, because you know, you don't want, I told you you don't want nobody like, I told you this was gonna happen.
right
Told you that. Or you know, and it's just maybe that she's feeling the heat, you know, the heat too with kids. Like, she doesn't know, she's looking at you, you're the man, and it can just be a lot of pressure. So I always tell people, particularly if you're going to do your own business and you have a family, or if you don't, it's not all gravy. But you make the, you know, lemons a lemonade. You still got to be strong, follow your passion. And throughout the time, I've taken other odds and ends job. Don't get it twisted. I've done what I had to do. But personal training was my passion. But I may have had to, you know, for Christmas, I may have had to go, you know, take a little Christmas job, you know, loading trucks or something at Sears, to, you know, to make sure kids, to make sure I got stuff from parents and all of that. But I had to do what I had to do. But having that support system, I can't imagine not having a support system. You just have to be that much stronger of a person if your wife is not supporting you, if your parents are not supporting you, or, you know, like if you're just out, if you're out there, you just gotta, you know, God just got to be your support, which should be your main anything anyway.
Yes.
It does help to have other sources supporting you too, but that's the main thing.
It's got to be a very strong passion of yours to go through the trials and the tribulations and stick with it. You know, I'm curious. So your son was about to be, and it was your son that was coming, right? He was about to be in this world. Did that push you to pursue your passion, knowing that you were having a child coming?
No, you know, keeping it 100.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It didn't, because I mean, I always had that passion even before, you know, before I got married. You know, I just wanted to do that. It was just more of just doing it, you know, 24/7. Now it did. It helped my passion more, because I was like, I had to put food on the table.
Back against the wall.
But not my passion of just doing what I do, which was personal training. That really didn't have anything to do with it. And I think down the road, when you go through stuff like that, Keisha, as your kids get older, or just sometimes God takes you through things so that you can help other people, you know, or if I see you know, I'll be able to tell my son what my dad told me, or if I see another personal trainer, like sometimes, you know, I meet other personal trainers, you know, just young, just starting off, you know, but had the same scenario I did, man. I want to quit my job. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so I can, you know, tell them what I've been through. And, you know, you just got to have that dog in you. It's not going to work out for, you know, unfortunately for everybody. You got to be totally committed to personal training, or committed to your dream, and just jump out there. It's never going, because people that's been in the same profession, and I'm not knocking it, by the way, but they had a passion for something else, but they can't just quite. I got a cousin. No, I don't know. He might see this.
I'll take that out.
Okay. No, you can't. I got a family member. Well, they could be another family member. He is freaking hilarious. Ever since he's been a kid, he would tell a joke. He would, back in the day, we say, Joan, you out. He'll talk about you, literally make you want to cry. Make you want to cry now as an adult. And he, it's just his gift. And actually, he's a comedian. He does, But, you know, every time I talk to him a few times, he's like, man, I got a good, you know, job. I can't just jump out there and be a full-time, you know, comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I can't knock that, you know,
Right.
but you just can't keep talking about it and be like you want to do this and then don't do it, because you can never devote the time to what your passion is if you're working somewhere else 10, 12 hours of the day.
That's
you
true.
can't be the best version of your passion.
Yeah.
And you really the best version of probably where you work, because if you're there and that's not your passion, you're not giving them 100% either.
That is
You may
true.
be giving them 60% and be like, man, I wish I could be out there telling jokes. I wish I could be out there personal training.
Yeah.
So you can get caught in that middle ground. So you know, it's not for everybody. I mean, I think it's for everybody. God is giving everybody a passion,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, you got to be strong to do that passion. If you don't have that character and you're not willing to develop it, man, you're in for a long thing if you just jump out there half-hearted.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, I definitely know about the struggles when pursuing your purpose, and that at first it seems like, yes, found it, gonna do it, right? And then you start doing this, like, why is it so hard? What's happening? And then it has you questioning, like, well, is this the thing I'm supposed to be doing? But like you, I've definitely experienced those moments where God just shows you, like, okay, I should be doing this. Mm-hmm. What are some of your favorite moments in your personal training journey?
Well, I guess this would kind of be one sort of indirect. Although it wasn't always my dream to be a personal trainer, but it was always my dream to help people improve their health and fitness. Yeah. Because even before I knew what a personal trainer was, Keisha, I would be living with a lot of my buddies, and they just telling them and helping them, and they said, like, literally, we were in the gym. They said, man, you should be a personal trainer. And because literally I was already doing it with them, but it never crossed my mind to be just a personal trainer full time until they started. I'm like, man, you know what? That's not a bad gig, you know? And I started watching a trainer. So that just kind of like, sometimes other people can see things in you, although I was always that I wasn't even thinking about being a personal trainer. And then once they light that fire or say something, then you're like, oh man, that's it. So that's one of my favorite things. But just, you know, I've been fortunate enough, Keisha, to help people reach their fitness goals. You know, 50-pound weight loss, 100-pound weight loss, you know, throughout the years, you know, many people. And your favorite part of it is just watching the inner and outward transformation. I mean, you would be freaking, it's mind-blowing. Sometimes people would come to you and, you know, you could just see over time, you know, they may have, you know, picked up some excess weight, you know, just got a lot on their mind, you know, want to, you know, maybe a little insecure, those type things. And as you see them, their body change, you see their inwardness change also. Right. You know, they you know, drop 10, 15, 20 pounds. They become more alive. Like literally, you can just see people confidence grow. Just see them, you know, looking in the mirror more. Because I've had people literally, and when I first started training them, and you'd be amazed, they will not look in the mirror. They literally will not look in the mirror. I've had people say, you know, I don't look in the mirror. And, you know, of course, I'll accommodate that because, of course, you know, when you're training them, you like, look in the mirror, do this, do what I do, such and such. And they, yeah, I just had people just come out and just flat out tell them, I don't look in the mirror, you know. Yeah. But as they start seeing results, you can just see their confidence change, and they become more secure. Okay, now, you know, I catch them, you know, looking in the mirror a little bit. And then, you know, finally, okay, I ain't even got to say nothing about the mirror. They not saying nothing about it. It's less like it's in the back of their mind. So seeing that is some, and knowing that you had a part of it, you know,
Yeah.
knowing part of somebody, you know, changing somebody's lives and making them feel better about themselves. Those are some of the favorite moments from personal training.
Yeah. As I watch you speak about this, I can see that you're passionate about it. I would challenge you and other people to look at the different episodes when people, and you, Mr. Madison, talk about what you're doing and how, the facial reaction, the body language. And you know, I challenge people to find what they have, what they love that makes them talk like that. You know, I can see that you really love to be a part of that change for people, and that you love to see them hit not only their fitness goals. I love that you love the inward change, that you love when they start looking in the mirror a little bit and, you know, they get a little bit closer and they just feel better. But I'm sure their posture changes. But I would challenge people to find the thing that when they talk about it, they look like you when they talk about it. I know you're passionate about it.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. But and just quickly, and on that, my son, you know, being the guy, when he was the older he got, and I wanted him to play sports. I'm like, I can't, you know, that's a dude. You're going to play sport. So when he was 7 or 8, I'm like, okay, this is a wrap. We're going to do it. I put him in football. He hated it. I put him in, like, I got a basketball goal outside. All of the kids in the neighborhood would be playing. And he'd be somewhere on a freaking big wheel. You know, I'm looking out the window like, God, is this my, oh my God. He's just playing with these other kids. And track, you know, I made him run track. He hated it. But all of a sudden, he saw something, I forgot it, but he saw something that just one day, he just started playing basketball. I think he was competing against some guy at his school or something. He just threw a couple of lucky shots in, and it went up. And to see him now, the passion that he has, he will stay out there, Keisha, literally till 10 o'clock at night, just shooting. Now, before, it just wasn't a passion of his. He just didn't want to do it. But once he got what of course he wants to go to the NBA, and I'm supporting that. And but once he found what he wants to do, I don't even have to worry about it. Now I gotta stop him from doing it so much. Like, dude, you gotta work, you know, you gotta do this. So just to see that passion in him, I see what you're saying. And like you said, when you talk to certain people, if they feel that they're in, you can just see it on their face, and their, like you said, their body language, and it's just them.
Yep. You know, you can tell. I love that you bring up your son, and because I did the same like you. I put him in everything. I put him in football, hated it. Hated football, and I loved it, you know. But I don't really love football. I don't care about any sports, to be honest. But I loved him being in football. I love anything that he does, but I pushed him in sports. I put him in karate. He was in boxing. And in my head, I was like, well, he doesn't have to like it, but he won't know if he likes it unless I put him in it and he experienced it, you know?
Right.
And lo and behold, my son did not stick with any of the sports. He did stick with basketball for a while, but he dropped it. And he went on to do what he's doing now is digital rendering. So he makes like these pictures for YouTubers and Twitter gurus. I don't know what you call them, but he makes them thumbnails, and he makes the Twitter banners and the YouTube banners, and he's making money off of that. Just a couple months ago, he hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. What? Yes, 10,000 followers. I threw him a party and everything because I'm that mom. I'm celebrating everything he does.
How old is he?
16 now.
Wow.
16 now. So I say that to say, in listening to you, it is imperative that you do expose your children to different things because they don't know unless you expose them. But then let them follow what they love. Because you never know what to turn into. My son used to spend so much time on a computer. It would drive my mother crazy. Go outside, do this, do that. And yes, I agree. Go outside, get fresh air. But you don't know what it's going to turn into. And now look at him, you know? So if I would have stifled that and say, well, you only get 20 minutes a day on the computer, he wouldn't know how to do what he's doing now. So let your kids be who they are. And I love that, you know, you saw your son on the big wheel. You're like, oh, Lord, whatever. But he found it in his own way. and loved it in his own way. And I think that because of parents like you and I, it may not take until 30, 40 years old to find your purpose. If you're raised by parents like you and I, they could find it earlier because we give them room to spread their wings rather than stifle them. And I love that about this generation of parents, because back in the day, it's like, oh no, you're going to college, you're going to get this job, you're going to do this, this, this. You didn't have room to spread your wings,
Right.
So I love that there are parents like yourself that are allowing their kids to just find themselves in their own way. They can live in their purpose a lot earlier.
There we go. That's true.
Yeah.
Same to you. Wow.
It's a struggle. Parenting ain't easy.
No, it's not. But the fortunate thing, like you say, those life lessons, that you learn, the earlier you learn any life lessons, I think the more you can help other people. As a parent, if you learn, in your early 20s and not making this, learn like how to have patience with people. Because I cannot see how people that were younger than me when they had kids had the patience at that younger age to deal with kids. I mean, that blows my mind. I had partners, that had kids real early, in their early 20s or something. I'm like, oh my goodness, how did you have the patience to raise a boy or even a girl like that? Because now I still gotta make myself have patience, and I know in my early 20s I'd have freaking went off, But I don't know. That's one of the lessons I didn't learn till it was meant for to learn it later, but it's meant for them to learn early. So.
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of power. There's a lot of lessons in doing, because having a kid will make you reel it in. And I'm going to bet money that this is true for you too, that there are a lot of times, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are a lot of times where I will do something with my son, maybe push him too hard or not push him enough, and then just feel bad. Like, oh man, did I do too much? Did I do too little? And, but it's a learning experience. So the next time it comes time to push them or not push them, you kind of tweak it, you kind of adjust to them.
Yeah.
So you learn how to be a parent through being a parent. And I mean, the human race is not dying out, so I guess we're doing all right.
and I learned a lot from, you do from doing mainly, but I did a lot through watching my boys, like I was telling you, they had kids, because I kind of grew up in an old school home where you didn't do something right. My dad, what I'm saying, he wasn't trying to hear that.
That's right.
So, not having kids, when my partners would be like, tell me about his kids, particularly his son, I'm like, man, why don't you just, do how we do it? Why don't you just, handle that?
Yeah.
But I learned it ain't just about always just handling it. But to me, I was like, dude, just, like my dad would do what he do. And they were like, nah, man, it ain't that easy. But to me, just looking on the outside, looking in, so that helped me to learn some of it as I got, about some gotten old. As my son or, daughter even gotten old. It's not just about, just going crazy and berserk, but actually letting them make mistakes, you having patience and putting up with it and learning from that.
You learn so much about yourself as a parent, and I think it's amazing. I want to touch a little bit more back on the pursuit of purpose. So I know that a lot of people are looking for their purpose and their passion. Which ways would you recommend that somebody find their purpose or discover their purpose?
Well, if you're really trying to find it, I recommend that you pray about it and ask God, Lord, what would you like for my life? What passion, what gift do I have that I can serve other people with? Number one. But number two, ask the people who know you most.
Yeah.
Just like I told you, my friends told me about personal training, and even though it was always in me, I never thought about it. So, your mom, of course, your parents, your best friend, You know, you might, and then sometimes they could tell you, like, you know, this might not be a good idea. You might want to be a lawyer, but you but you scared to speak in front of people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And they know that, you know, especially your mom, be like, baby, I don't know, you know, follow your dream, but you know, you kind of like reserved. And if 2 or 3 people tell you that, now I'm not the one to say what you should do or shouldn't do, but if they know you that well, particularly your parents are going to tell you things usually out of love. But, you know, your best friends, they'll tell you, like, man, you know, I don't know, you
Right.
know. If 4 or 5 people telling you that and you still want to do that, I mean, try it, but have an open mind to what they're saying, because if they really care about you like that, and they can kind of see down the road, like, man, you know, that's really not your personality.
Yeah.
You know, you you know, just not your personality. That's really not you. Well, consider it, think about it, and everybody usually is not wrong. But at the same time, if that's just in you and you got an open mind and you still want to try it, do it. But seek guidance and counseling.
Yeah.
And of course, the third thing I would do, if you kind of have an idea of what your passion is or trying to follow it, you know, do some research on it before you just jump into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the attorney, the being an attorney, that wasn't my passion, but that's what I wanted to do. You see, so that, you know, by me doing it a little bit, I just don't jump off all into it. I think it's good to, you know, learn about it, check it out, and then kind of like go for it. But some people like, hey, I'm gonna do it, jump into it, and it work out for them. So
yeah, I agree. And I agree with what you were saying about the friend. For one, I had started the work for the nonprofit before I made it, before I created the 501c3. And my friend Hazel said, you should make this a nonprofit. And I'm like, nah. And she said it to me a bunch of times. And then finally one day I was like, you think I could? And so that came about. But then also I heard what you said before. I've heard somebody else say, like, ask the people closest to you what you're good at. So, and I was actually looking for the text message the other day and I couldn't find it. So I texted 5 people to tell me my best character traits. So that I could figure out, I was looking for my purpose at that time. So I can kind of figure out what my purpose is. I'm like, hey, do me a favor, just text me back. Tell me what you think my best qualities are. And I really don't remember what they said, but I do remember it lighting a fire under me and pushing me to pursue something. But I think that would be a great idea too. Just text your closest friends and family and say, what are my best qualities? What do you think I'm really good at? And they'll tell you, because people sometimes admire you secretly and they don't really say it. But if you ask them, they'll tell you.
So, and one other thing, I'm glad you said, it's a book, and I read it like every couple of, I try to read it once a year, but it might be like every 2 years. But I just finished reading it today. It's called The Purpose-Driven Life.
That's confirmation right there.
That is the best freaking book. See, sometimes if somebody else tell you that.
No, I tell you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But so I'm doing the book drive, right? I have gotten 4 copies of that book. When I first saw it, I said, I should keep this book. And I said, nah, because I'm not keeping the books. It's to give away. I got the second one. I said, no, it's to give away. Got the third one. Got the fourth one. By the time I got the fourth one, I said, fourth one's for me. And then here you go talking about it.
Hey, I try to give that book to people. We're really, you know, people did it. I've gotten it for my parents, my sisters, and a couple of my friends. My good, that book it's fantastic. It is really fantastic. I highly recommend it.
I'm starting it today. I'm sold.
And in 40 days, because it's kind of like a daily devotional thing. It's like 4 or 5 pages. You're gonna be blown away. Like literally, you're gonna be blown away by the time you get to the 40th day.
I'm starting it today. I'll talk to you in 40 days.
Yeah. No, because I'm telling you.
Yes. So let's get back to lifestyle fitness and some of the things that you offer. Because you do offer virtual coaching, right?
Yeah, I offer one-on-one training, of course. I do the social distancing with that, of course, now, but I do offer one-on-one personal training, small group training, and small, now with everything that's going on, small group training is anywhere from 2 to 6, maybe 8 people. I offer in-home personal training, of course, where I can come to you or you can come to my studio in Decatur. Like you mentioned, I do virtual classes, and actually like 90% of my business now is virtual because, be honest, gyms are a very hot spot. Yes. My location, Lifestyle Fitness, and I have a small studio that I train, and I am, there's no groups of people in there at the same time right now. I'm training somebody, a very small group. I'm sanitizing everything down, usually as we go, definitely after each session. I'm masked up. Of course, people that are training realistically can't be masked up because of the oxygen intake and out. But I do virtual personal training now, which has been a godsend. And one of the things that you have to, in business, you have to adjust. Yeah. When COVID first broke out, everybody was leaving, leaving the gym. They didn't want to be up under you. You really didn't want to be up under them. Personally, that's realistic. And even, somewhat now. So that caused me to look into virtual training, Keisha, because I really wasn't. I'd heard a couple of trainers do it. It really wasn't that popular. And I like the one-on-one. You're here. I can the proper form, technique. Right. I motivate, encourage you. But once I had to do virtual training in order to adapt my business and survive, I love it. It's really hard for me to see going back to. I'm not going back, not see, but to doing personal training physically as much, even when COVID is over, because it's just so much more convenient for me as well as for the client. It saves time for for me, for the client. It saves money because I don't charge. My rates are not as high as if I got to come to you or or vice versa. Also, we produce fitness videos that are on DVD or streaming from our website. What else? And I specialize in toning, weight loss, of course, 90%, 80% of people. Weight loss, toning, improving your overall health and fitness, your endurance. Basically, whatever your fitness goals are, we can tailor my program to reach your fitness goal. Awesome. My signature program is a program I created about 10 years ago called Chair Exercise. It's a chair exercise weight loss program where I basically transformed a lot of the standing, most effective exercises into chair exercises, doing the same thing, sprints, boot camp type exercises, where you get the same results, literally, Keisha. Someone standing up, they're done with medium, high intensity, low impact, exercises that's done in the chair. We have just safe on your joints. We have a 60-day chair exercise program. So we do a wide variety of things in a way that can help people improve their health and their fitness. We can be a personal trainer, of course, but can be a cheerleader, be a drill sergeant, be a motivational coach or encouragement, whatever it takes. If you're willing to put the time in, we will get you to your fitness goal.
Awesome. Well, so what do you have planned next for you, for Lifestyle Fitness? What's next for you?
Next is going on even a grander platform of virtual personal training. As I mentioned a little while ago, I'm flipping it. It's going to be like 90 to 80%. It was 90% now, but long term, it's going to be 90%. So my marketing now is geared, now that I have a new direction, my marketing now is geared off getting clients way more through, social media increase. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was, geared toward, come see me, I will do this, I flip the script. Now it's way more social media involved.
Right.
Platforms, also live classes, live chair-a-size classes, there'll be live chair-a-size classes more than, small group classes. That's the next step. And I got a couple other things I'm working on now. I'm also working more with people in the medical field. I work with a plastic surgeon, a couple of people in the medical field now, so that people can get, the more weight you lose before plastic surgery or even after plastic surgery, the better your results will be.
Right.
Now working with, and I'm going to increase, my goal is, pick up 2 or 3 more doctors or, any people in the medical field that I can work, each month. That's what it is for now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Where can people find you to sign up, to follow along your journey?
Well, in regards to personal training, if you go to Lifestyle Fitness, the1.com, that has a whole bunch of testimonials, before and after pictures, video clips, the whole 9 yards, just my regular personal training. Mm-hmm. If you go to chair-a-size.com or chairweightloss.com, they're both take you to the same website. Mm-hmm. Again, it has before and after pictures. It tells you, it has testimonials. It tells you how you can, order the 60-day rapid weight loss chair-a-size program. And it just gives you the whole 9 yards on that. In regards to social media and Facebook, it's chair-a-size_fitness. And Twitter, @chair-a-size. On Facebook, Facebook is my name. I gotta work on that, but it's Daryl Madison.
Awesome.
It's Daryl Madison, and on Instagram is chair-a-size. It's the one that this most. Well, anyway, it's if you pull up chair-a-size, it'll come up.
I don't have it streaming across the bottom. So I look at it.
Yeah. But if you type in just Daryl Madison on your search bar, 9 times out of 10, particularly if it relates to fitness, you'll see ways that you can contact me, the things that I've done, things I am doing, the whole 9. Contact, of course, 404-272-3996, 404-272-996. And I always encourage people, if you just have overall fitness and health questions, I just want to help people, and it's not about, you signing up or this, or if you just like, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about this philosophy? Right. Just email me or text me. I'll just pick up the phone and call me. I'll answer. There's no, selling thing or that. I just like helping people improve their health and fitness. Now, if you want to, I'm not going to discourage you. Right. but just in general, it's about, me just trying to do my little part and share my gift. Share my gift just like you sharing your gift. Yes. And helping people just become a better version of themselves, Keisha.
Awesome. Last question, Daryl. Is there a quote that you live by?
Oh, that's a good one. A quote that I live. Now, if you wouldn't have asked me, it'd have been a million. I could have told you. Quote them all the time. So let's just say, well, I didn't give advice. How about that? Anybody? Just follow your purpose, follow your dream. Seek. I'm really high on the spiritual thing, not the spiritual thing, but spiritual. If you don't know your purpose, just ask God.
Yeah.
Just ask the people around you. You know, don't make it more, don't outthink the room. You know, don't outthink the room. And then be patient. Don't, because the first thing, jump up and ask him to give you peace about, you know, what's my purpose, and give me peace. And if you do that, ask the people around you, you'll find your purpose and what works for you. Guess that's not a quote, but that's
I love it.
more advice than a quote, but hey.
I love it. I love it. Daryl, thank you so much for being on. I really intend on staying connected with you and following your journey. I appreciate everything you've offered here today.
And thank you for inviting me. Anytime I can have a platform to share health, and you drew out some really good, you had some really great questions, and I can see, you know, you got passionate about what you're involved into, your family, your son, and just, I can see you're finding your purpose. So I think that's great, and you're allowing me to tell people and share with people my purpose, and I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem at all. And I'll have you back on. We definitely like to touch base in the future and just see what new things have happened.
I would love that, and I definitely want to hear from you when you finish that book.
Yes, yes. I'm going to read that book.
but
yes, I thank you so much, Daryl. Thank you for being on today.
Thank you too, and you have a great and fantastic day, and be safe and healthy.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I want to talk a little bit more about females in male-dominated industries, because I myself was in one and you are in one. And for me, when I saw the car industry, somebody wanted me to be in it, wanted to hire me. I said no. You know, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought, you know, who lives off commission? That doesn't make any sense. And this is for the boys. But then once I got into it, I loved doing the things that the boys were doing and beating the boys at the boys' games. But there are a lot of women who may not even consider the male industries for themselves, or if they do consider it, they're a little fearful. What would you say to women like that who kind of want to, but think it's more for the boys and not for them?
I would say, what can you bring that they don't have?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I brought design knowledge, or at least was developing it in the early days. But I feel like as a flipper in a male-dominated industry, or used to be, that I brought something that the guys didn't have. I mean, for you, I would imagine that being the female on the floor, you know, you stood out.
Yeah. They remembered me, even if they didn't know my name. They asked for where's the girl? Where's the female? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is something to bring to the table that they don't, you know, that they aren't. And I don't know if that might come in the typical female compassionate role or something like that, but whatever it is, it's different.
Mm-hmm. And memorable.
Think of it that way.
Yeah, I agree.